Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, my fellow Americans. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is Tuesday, May the 26th in the year of our Lord, 2015, and it is the start of a new week, the last full week of the month of May as we head into June. I know many of you probably had, you had yesterday off. I know I had yesterday off, and, spent a lot of time with, just being a person, being an American, if you will, simply because, because I could. And I can, and you should, because you can and should. But I know there's a lot of stuff that was going on back over the weekend. Things that, I know there's the news for ISIS and everything, but mostly it should have been about the wonderful Veterans Day and Memorial Day ceremonies that took place all across the country. That was some beautiful stuff for me to see as well as hear about. And because, the military has a very special place in my heart. Always has, always will. For a number of reasons. Nothing, of course, one, because my father served for a very long period of time. But that's not the only reason. The other reasons is because they're the ones that allow us to be free. Without the military, you can hang it up. You're not going to, ISIS and everybody else and Germans and Japanese and everybody else would be running rampant through this country whenever they wanted to. It's our military that has always said no and stopped them. And this whole notion that we have Americans out there that don't like the military is really beyond me. I do not understand it. I just can't get past that. I can never fully, truly get why they would dislike the military so. It doesn't make any sense to me. But then again, liberals never really make any sense at all. Later in about the bottom of this half hour, we have some special guests coming up on the program. I know today has been like a blizzard of a day for me, getting back and you got to catch up from having a day off and that kind of thing. But also today down in Boston, speaking of the military, we had the Blue Angels. Now, if you've never seen the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds, the Blue Angels are Navy and the Thunderbirds are Air Force, and the Canadians have the Snowbirds. You got to understand, well, if you've never seen it, it's hard to explain what these men and women now do in these fighter aircraft, make them do what they do in such an aerial acrobatic ballet type of situation. I never tire of seeing them. Never tire. No, yes, I know that there's a German flying team, and there's a French flying team, and there's an Italian flying team, and then I think there's a British flying team, as well as the Canadian team called the Snowbirds. I'm a little partial. I don't think there's anything better than the Thunderbirds. the Air Force aerial acrobat team. Amazing stuff. But over here today, the Navy's aerial acrobatic team, the Blue Angels, were in town. And traffic was all over the place. I am sure it's because people were all over the place trying to get pictures and to see them and all that kind of stuff. And that's okay. Yeah, I'm glad that we have something that people can reach out to and experience with the military, other than knowing that the only thing that the military really is good for is for breaking things and killing people. Well, that's what they're very good at. Military is very, very good at breaking things. And that's what they're designed to do. They're basically. But I know that our military does a lot of different things besides breaking things. You don't have to say breaking things; you can say blow things up. But you wouldn't be far from the truth in that one. But that's that's what they're there for. They're there to protect you and I from those from around us, around the world, that would do us harm. And in order for them to protect us so we can live the lives that we want to live, they have to break things and kill people. That's the nature of warfare on this planet. Sorry to say, but that is the nature of warfare on this planet. You may not like it. You may like it. I don't particularly, it doesn't matter, but that's just what they're here for. To protect you and me, so we can go about our daily lives without having to worry about ISIS invading, without USSR or Russia invading, without China invading, without whoever doesn't like us invading us. Plain and simple. Look, it even allows us, I don't drink a lot of soda, but military allows us to do things like enjoy a soda. What's on the shelf? It seems like it's on the shelf permanently now. It was supposed to be only temporary. Now, I don't drink a lot of soda. I really don't. It's a rare occasion. But I got to tell you, I like the Pepsi Cola made with real sugar. And I know it sounds like a free spot, like I'm giving him a free. But you know what? It tastes different from the regular quote unquote Pepsi of today. Look, I just say stay away from that corn syrup stuff. It's not good for you. It really is. I know they've tried to say that it was just as good as sugar. It's not, in my book, it's not just as good as sugar. It doesn't taste the same. I can taste the difference between Pepsi Cola made with real sugar and regular Pepsi. There is a distinct difference. You know the difference. There is nothing. And it's the same with all those other artificial or sweetener substitutes like stevia. They're not the same as sugar. They're not. And I don't eat a lot of sugar or drink a lot of sugary types of things because too much sugar is not good for you. And unlike what we used to have been told, if you eat too much sugar, you're going to get diabetes. That's not true either. But I just don't eat a lot of sugar because it's not good for you. It's not. But neither is these artificial chemical substitutes. They're not good for you. And there is some evidence to suggest that some of these other alternatives in the kind of quantities that we eat sugar are also not very good for you. So, the sweet stuff, take it easy on the sweet stuff. That's all I can say about that. But, take it easy on the sweet stuff. Now, I hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. It is the unofficial, official, or it's the official, unofficial start of the summer season, however you look at it. And that means a lot of backyard barbecues, and maybe you live in a small town or you live in a neighborhood where people like to gather a lot and do whatever you do during the summer. Maybe you like to vacation. I don't know where you go on vacation. Anywhere you want, as long as you can afford to go. That's fine with me. Yeah, I say, find places that you can visit here across this land before you go overseas or outside of the country. But you know, it is what it is, I guess. Hey, I got some news for you. It's about the show. I don't think I've announced it yet, but TopTalkRadio.com has just listed me among one of the top 100 conservative talk show hosts out there. And there are a lot. I didn't you know, I mean, that puts me in the, and yeah, I know it's top 100, but that's kind of a big deal. It's kind of like being, remember the Billboard, the top 40? But the Billboard always, if you read the magazine or the newspaper that came out, it was always the Billboard Top 100. Now, the radio show that with Casey Kasem was always top 40, because that's all they had the time for, was to do, I mean, it was like 3 hours long as it is for top 40, 3 or 4 hours. But they always listed it by the top 100. So this Top Talk has done the same thing. And so that puts me, you know, in their ranking system, that puts me, you know, on this, well, on the same page in ranking as El Rushbo and Sean Hannity and Glenn Beck and Mark Levin and Jerry Boyle. And I know some of you are probably saying, Jerry, who? If you've never heard Jerry Boyle, you should look him out. Look him up. Now, some of you will probably understand or know who Jerry Boyle is. He was the security chief, the head of security on the TV show Babylon 5. Yeah, that Jerry Boyle. That's him. Yes. But he's got a highly rated conservative talk show. Another not liberal actor out of Hollywood. And he's solidly conservative. I've heard his show a few times, and he's good. And so it puts me in that ranking, and I am very flattered by that. I'm kind of overwhelmed that I should be construed in being the same genre or neighborhood as all of those greats. So let's face it, you know, they're well-known people out there that have been at it for quite longer than I have. And I know I've been at this since 2009, but you know, there are people out there who've been out doing this longer. And I'm just happy to be a part of that growing. You know, this country, I know we see every once in a while there is a poll that comes out that kind of shows that the country is leaning left. Well, that's not the case, because all the other polls out there say that the country is pulling to the right. Even to some degree, the millennials are, you know, because the millennials tend to be the children of baby boomers. And baby boomers tend to be a little bit on the, shall we say, liberal side. So, but they're not quite as liberal as their parents or, I guess, grandparents are. And I know we see the Occupy Wall Street type of idiots, and we see, you know, the protesters down there in Baltimore and Ferguson, and you're probably thinking, well, Rod, they're, you know, these young whippersnappers don't know nothing. Well, actually, they're beginning to see that government isn't the answer. Just like there was a poll that was done a couple of months ago that showed that like 59% of African Americans polled said government is the problem, not the answer. 59%. Over half of African Americans polled said government is the problem. So there is some progress being made in that arena, folks. You got to show some happiness and some pride when it comes to that, because we are making some progress. I know for a lot of people, myself included, the progress isn't big enough. It isn't fast enough. But I also understand it. It took us 50 or 60 years to get to this point. We're not going to turn it around in 2 or 4 years. That's just not the way things work. unfortunately, thankfully, I guess it does work that